Good afternoon, Michelle.
Hello.
It's lovely to see you back again.
Thanks.
What would you like to talk about this time?
Uh,
How have you been going?
well, not real good at all.
Yep.
I know it's been 3 months, but it's not getting any easier. It's not getting any better. There's a few more issues now with my family and my ex-partner's family, and it's just all getting the better of me.
So you mentioned that there's a few more issues. Can you tell me what they are?
Yeah. So, Tom's father has he thinks it's my fault. He's blaming me.
Yep.
For Tom, for not, I guess, watching him every second of every day, and that, he's blaming me, saying it's my fault. And obviously that's how his family must feel, because, it's a small town.
Mhm.
Everyone knows everyone, but, I'm getting shunned by all of his family. None of them speak to me. It's really, really awful.
Yep. And would you say at the moment that feels particularly isolating? Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I don't want to go get my groceries. I don't want to go to the bank. I don't want to go down the street. I just don't want to leave the house. I feel like the house is my only safe place away from all these people.
Yeah. And that must be very, very disappointing.
Well, it's very, it's hard enough as it is having lost a child, let alone then have to deal with all this extra stuff on top of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like people don't understand that I've lost something as well.
Definitely. And it's what people don't realise is losing a child is much more difficult to process than losing someone older. It's a type of grief that is so very, very heavy for people, and it affects a lot of different people in different ways. And you've probably seen that.
Yeah. Oh, at the moment, I don't feel like I've slept in 3 months, so
Yeah.
I don't even know what I'm wearing today. I just don't feel like I feel like a zombie. Like I'm just not functioning. I don't know what to do with myself. I can't sleep at the night time, but I'm tired.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a struggle.
Another thing with grief that we don't often look at is, there's emotional, there's mental grief, but sometimes grief can play havoc with our bodies. So as you mentioned before, you're not sleeping, but you're really, really tired. Sometimes people's hair falls out, their skin is a mess. Even stuff like they can be quite constipated and uncomfortable. They just feel angry, so they just, can yell, all those sorts of things. So it can really affect us physically.
Well, getting shunned by his family makes me just angry. It's just, I don't even know the words to describe it, really. It's just awful.
Yeah.
It's not fair, really.
No, not at all. And, you're dealing with your own grief and loss, and you're dealing with other people's grief. Would you say that's a fair assessment?
Definitely. I feel like, they blame me for what's happened, so maybe that's a way of them trying to deal with their grief, is they need someone to blame.
Yep. And that's often the case, especially when it is a child, is you find that lots of people like to blame others for what's happened because they can't understand what's actually happened. Yeah. So you mentioned there's a lot of things going on at the moment. What else do you think is affecting?
So, my parents aren't being very supportive either, because, their view is very different to mine. They are, they're very strict in the church. They have a Lutheran belief. That's how we grew up. I grew up with that. They really want me to it's almost like they're annoyed at me for not going to the church service on a Sunday.
Mhm.
But yet, the way they see it is that it's fine that Tom is gone because it's God's will, and so it's, you know, there's no need for grief because it's all okay. That's how, you know, they perceive it. They, you know, they don't have thoughts and feelings about it almost. It's like to them it's God's will and it's a good thing.
Yeah.
I guess that's how they see it. And that's obviously not my beliefs. It's not my thoughts, and it's just, you know, I don't even feel like because of that I have their support.
Yeah.
Mm.
Do you find that sort of answer is towards you? Do you think that's quite dismissive?
Yeah, I do. I feel like it's, you know, they're not really, they don't deal with anything because there's nothing to deal with to them. To them it's, well, you know, it's God's will that this has happened, so that's it, move on, forget about it, be happy that, you know, that's where he is, according to them.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so, you know, they don't ever, there's no sympathy, there's no grief, there's no empathy, there's just, you know, come along on Sundays and you'll feel so much better.
Yeah, okay.
It's where you need to be in the church, and obviously that means then having a belief that they have.
Yeah.
Which is not my belief.
Yeah, okay. And do you feel in any way they're being supportive towards you, supporting your needs through this time?
No, not at all.
Yeah.
But I can't seem to, you know, we may not have a direct conversation about it, but I can't seem to get that concept through to them. They seem just totally dismissive of, you know, actual feelings and reality and thoughts, and, you know, not even wanting to really it basically just feels like it's shut down.
Yeah.
Shut down with that. And I don't know whether that's also their way of coping and dealing with it. Or whether that's just what they think is expected of them.
Yeah. Which you probably never have thought of, but is that how they've dealt with issues, you know, traumas, losses in the past? Is that just how they...
I haven't really thought about that, but yeah, I guess, yeah, that's exactly how things like that are, you know, within that religion. That's how traumas, tragedies, events like that, I guess, have always been just what's happened, how they've been dealt with, and how they see them. It's like, you know, it's not even their own thoughts, and it's just what they're told, you know, what the Bible tells them is the right thing in that situation, or what it means, or what you do, or
Yeah, okay.
like there's no humanity about it.
Yeah. And how much, looking at the past, how much do you think growing up that sort of religion influenced your upbringing? Like how do you feel about it now looking back?
Yeah, so like I went to church on a Sunday with Mum and Dad because I had to, you know, as a child, and you know, it was fun when you're a kid. It wasn't about, you know, it was more about you had little friends there, and you know, you did a few activities and sang a few songs, but I guess it wasn't until I was a teenager that I sort of started to develop, like you do, you know, my own thoughts and ideas about the world and beliefs, and like I still went, but once I was sort of an adult or late teenager, I just, while I hadn't had those beliefs for quite a long time, I still felt like I needed to go just to please my mum and dad until I was old enough to sort of make my own decisions. And while, you know, they would prefer that I was at the church, they can't exactly drag me along by the hair these days.
Yeah.
You know? So I guess, you know, they have to respect people's decisions whether or not, you know, they do or don't go. But, if I wanted to go, then I would go.
Yeah.
If that's what I believed in, then I would probably have the same concept, maybe. But I just sort of think, you know, they should, you know, they can't even help, you know, their daughter in, you know, this situation. It's just, you wouldn't wish upon anyone.
Yeah. and that's just, it's truly awful. So what you mentioned before about, you know, not sleeping and things like that. So between now and when I see you next, like, your physical health it's paramount to your health, really. So we need to make sure that you're sleeping better, because that's going to make you feel a whole lot better. How's your eating going at the moment?
Yeah, like, you know, I know last week I haven't done the shopping.
Yep.
Because, you know, I feel uncomfortable going downtown to town, and you know, so that makes it hard. So I guess I'm just sort of, you know, if it's tomato and a salada or it's a piece of toast,
Yeah.
it is what it is, I guess. But yeah, I guess nutrition's not really a top priority, or it hasn't been. I just hadn't really considered it.
Yeah. 'Cause it really is, like, and I know it's hard, but yeah, you need to fuel your body in order to start feeling better. So I wonder, you know, if you're not feeling comfortable going to the supermarket, is there any other way that there's someone else that can go?
Yeah.
Because Mum and Dad, they are next door, is
Yeah,
that
they're at the
right?
neighbouring farm. And look,
Yeah.
to be honest, you know, something like that, if I asked them to do that, they probably would. I just hadn't thought to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's no reason why if I asked Mum, you know, if she could grab me some things when
Yeah.
she does the shopping, she would.
Yeah.
And she would be more than happy to help
Yeah.
in that situation
Yeah.
if I needed to. Particularly if it wasn't making her go out of her way.
Yeah. And definitely that could certainly help. So maybe if we do ask
And
Mum.
plus, you know, they're next, well, neighbouring property, but yeah, next door.
Yeah. So that could certainly be a way to help boost your energy levels. Another thing, it's also really important for exercise. Is there a way that you can get out and about?
Yeah, I mean, I should be. I used to be really active on the farm, you know,
Yeah.
being there on my own, and probably haven't been doing the farm work as much as what I have done in the past, and yeah, I do know that that's something I need to get back to. You know, the farm's still a farm.
Yeah.
The animals need feeding. I think that's, and I think that'll be a good thing to get back into, because it's sort of, it's nice to be outside on the farm, and I guess, you know, sometimes it's hard to go out in the den.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
And the dog's still there. I don't blame the dog. You know, it wasn't her fault. She's just been a dog.
Yeah. Maybe if we just do, you know, bits and pieces. You don't have to get out and do the whole farm. Is there any way that maybe, you know, your parents could help for a little while to help manage, so they don't get, you know, too over?
Mum and Dad, like, they've got the farm next door, but they're basically retired as such.
Yeah.
Like, they still, you know, they've got just some cattle and things like that. Not like, it's more like just a hobby farm. Just sort of keeps them active now. But yeah, I think I saw Dad out the window the other day on the farm, you know, driving around. So no doubt he was just sort of checking on things, keep an eye on it, which isn't an unusual thing for him to have done anyway. You know, obviously being there and being at the house, you know, now I've separated in the past from my partner, so I could ask my dad to, you know, if he would help me with things. But yeah, no, I do need to get back to doing the farming activities.
Some people find it helpful to sort of, you know, bring in some old elements of their life, and we're not saying, you know, to forget Tom or to move on from Tom, but, you know, getting out and doing the farm work, getting out into the fresh air and the sun can really just make you feel
Yeah,
a
I mean
lot
it
better.
brings back memories too. Because
Yeah.
you know, jump on the four wheeler. Tom would always want to get on the back, and especially once he was old enough to
Yeah.
and things like that. But you know, if he was at school or daycare or with his father, then he wouldn't be there.
Mm.
Mm.
So it sounds like you're just getting like constant reminders.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like it's getting easier every day in a very small way.
Yeah. And the thing is with grief is they say that there's lots of different levels of grief. So you know, from the start you may have felt some numbness that you just didn't want to feel, denial, anger, and we sort of move through grief. And we might take a step back and we might go forward. Sometimes we feel angry and then sometimes we can control the anger. And going back and forth, there's nothing wrong with that. And people have this perception that grief has a timeline and a time frame. And you know, some people will never get past the grief. The main thing is that we keep moving rather than staying in the same stage. Because that's when it gets chronic, and that's when we can't function correctly.
Yeah.
So we need to make sure that whilst we're still thinking of Tom and loving Tom, we've got to keep on moving through. Does that make much sense?
Yeah, it does, and I know that's what Tom would want too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Done. Sorry.